Gotta make another couple $100,000 a month. No, I can do it, I just gotta stay in the hunt. Grab some snacks and some fluids and a couple hands of blunts. I play through the fourth quarter, I don't play in the punt. Gotta make another couple $100,000 a month. Watch me. No, I can do it, I just gotta stay in the hunt. Grab some snacks and some fluids and a couple hands of blunts. I play through the fourth quarter, I don't play in the punt. Watch me, son. If words to cut, I got lots of swords. I'm old school like a harpsichord. I'm no fool, I'm with the gods and lords. A cold brew that's quality hops, of course. This for the crews that's tired of mopping the floors. If you still with the carrots and sticks, all of the merits and tricks.
The clock punches and free lunches when you come in on Sundays.
I'm sorry, my dudes, it's on gang for you.
Want to join the stream?
I come home and crank on the news. This for the creeds with the
LLCs. The board of directors that make the directors, the sole proprietors that pray for protection, and the ones with the solid business plans looking like cake to investors. And you can't tell me those. Listen. Last words I once heard from a seasoned detective. Things will look different once you change your perspective. Look at me now, boy. Oh, got the studio back going. Got the baby bottle going. Got the baby bottle going.
Watch me stun. Watch me stun.
Okay, now.
Watch me stun. Barely go to school, was too impatient with it. But they said I had to do it, I'm a fake.
Just listen to the lyrics.
Nothing, I start a company and
take percentage. And I got 40 acres and a mule with inflation with it.
All the hating, that's the fuel. And don't break till you finish. If you break, you
ain't Lord.
Finished. You treat it like a comma when it's breaking a sentence. Repentance.
Wise words I once heard from a carpenter's apprentice. Things will look different once you change your position. Oh, messed up.
$100,000 a month. No, I can do it, I just gotta stand.
It's easy to me. I'm just trying to get back warmed up.
I play through the fourth quarter, I don't play.
Anybody want to join the stream? The link should be in the comments. I'm just getting warmed back up. It's easy. Watch me stunt. Hey, here's the thing, man. One thing that I noticed, I've met the most competent, the most capable, the most efficient people in the world. But it's something about getting on a stage or getting in front of a camera and they just lock up. It's something about getting on stage or getting in front of the camera. It don't matter how competent, how capable, how efficient, how immaculate your skill set is. Something about that camera, that stage, that make people say, "Nah, I'm good." So I just said that to say this. If you're somebody who don't mind and getting in front of a camera or getting on a stage, you need to do what you need to do, because Web 3 is coming. If you never heard of Web 3, let me tell you what it has to do. Right now, we're currently in what they call Web 2. Web 2 has a lot to do with, the social media and all of that, and centralized locations of where information is stored. Web 3 is decentralized. Web 3 is ownership. Web 3 means if you do not have a personal brand, you might get ate up with all of this automation that's coming, man. It's about to be real crazy. It's about one thing about it is I'm not concerned about not being able to make money ever, right? I'm not concerned about it, because one thing about it is money is just a representation of the value that you have. Money is just a representation of how many people that you're able to help, the most efficient way to do it, and your inability to be replaced. How many people do you help, and how hard is it to replace you? One thing that a lot of companies tried to do and still do try to do is get rid of Amazon. Anybody ever heard of a small company called Amazon? Right. Well, the thing about Amazon is they tried to get it broken up because they wanted to call it a monopoly. A monopoly is when there's a company that has a stronghold on the industry. They have no competition. They are the ones who control that industry, and therefore they are able to control the price. And when they get that ability to control the price, what they do typically when somebody has a monopoly on a market, they price gouge. They raise the price as high as possible. Then they could raise it, right? One of the reasons why Amazon was not shut down due to being a monopoly is how can you shut down a company that's making prices cheaper for people? How can you shut down a company that's allowing people to get their products and services quicker and more seamlessly and more efficiently? I don't know what Amazon be telling those vendors that be on Amazon, but one thing that I do know is if they ever mess up, if the package is ever late, they be so apologetic. They be ready to do anything and everything to make sure that your order. Hey, we sorry. I know we told you it's going to take 2 days. It took 2.5 days. I apologize. What can we do to fix this? Amazon did something to them and say, hey, we all about customer service. We all about giving people the best price. And if for any reason that you cannot meet the expectations that you set to our mutual customer, something must happen because they be so spooked. But Amazon is an amazing story about how somebody started with an idea and it just grew. Some of y'all have an idea in your heads right now that you've been working on, right? And some of you are, some of the funniest things are the people who have great ideas and they never share it with anybody, right? So here's the thing. It's all about teams, right? You got to find people that you work with, that you trust, that you can bring along with you. It's impossible to make it without a team. That's one thing that I've learned over the years. I've been somebody that's been called smart since the age of 4. I've been somebody that's been called wise. I'm sorry, an old soul. So if anybody's ever been called an old soul, I still remember the first time that somebody called me an old soul. Um, I was going to it's an elementary school called Martin Luther King Elementary. And what they would do in our school, I don't know if they did this at your school, but what they would do at our school is they would take the youngest people in the world to the nursing home to meet the oldest people in the world. Think about that. They would take the youngest people in the world to the nursing home to meet the oldest people in the world. And if you think about it, that's the way life works. You're born and put in diapers, and then so a lot of times shortly before you die, you in diapers, right? You're born and you have to depend on the kindness of people around you to take care of you and protect you. And then when you get older and become frail, you have to have that same dependency on the people around you, right? So what they did was they took us from Martin Luther King to Martin Luther King Elementary to the nursing home that was around the corner. And I distinctly remember that's the first time I ever heard somebody say, "You're an old soul." And whenever somebody calls you an old soul, that's just a way for them to tell you that you are wise. So I've been called smart and wise and whatever since I was 4 years old, my earliest memory of it. But that means nothing without a team, right? Because what happens is there's a such thing called analysis paralysis. Analysis paralysis means that you can be so smart that all you do is think about what needs to be done, but you never act. And then there are some people who don't never think about it, but they act all day. I distinctly remember when I started working with contractors and roofers. I remember because growing up, we always associated, I grew up in a middle class home. Um, I mean, we weren't dirt poor. I know people who were poor, so poor that they would have to heat their homes with the stove, right? We weren't poor like that, but we didn't have everything. And, as a kid, you don't realize, you know, a lot of times you don't realize what's your social and economical uh position, right? You don't realize it until you get older and reach out and think back of it. But I distinctly remember growing up thinking, all right, in order to be wealthy, you have to be smart. Like that's the connection. In order to make money, you have to be smart, right? So I distinctly remember when I first started working with contractors and roofers and people in the blue collar industry, specialized knowledge. Now, a lot of these people are outright geniuses, but think about it. I'm not talking about a genius in general knowledge. If you want to know the value of general knowledge, look up the average salary of a college professor. That's the value of general knowledge, but specialized knowledge. So I remember talking, and it wasn't just one roofer, it was two roofers, it was three roofers, and what they would say out of their mouth almost proudly is, I'm not that smart. That's what they would tell me. They'd be like, I'm not that smart. And they would say it, and I would look at them like, all right, tell me anything. I don't believe you. It's no way that you're just wealthy, because check me out, the roofers that I was hanging out with, trust me, they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, millions of dollars a year. I said, it's no way that you're this wealthy and you're going to tell me that you're not smart. I don't believe you. That's what I'm saying in my head. But the longer that I hung out with them, I said, all right, I believe you. You're not that smart. But what I learned in that moment is I know a bunch of smart, quote unquote, smart people that's broken in dirt. It takes more than being smart. You have to be persistent. You have to be ambitious. You must align yourself with the right people. You must be persistent. You must be ambitious. You must align yourself with the right people. And one thing about someone who's quote unquote not that smart, they don't spend days, weeks, months, years thinking about the risks. They just do it because guess what? They're not that smart, but they're willing to risk it all. And maybe they're risking it all because they didn't think about all of the consequences. Maybe that's your problem. Maybe if you're someone that has a great idea, and you have someone that you're around and you notice that you can trust them, you notice that they take up accountability, you notice that they're dependable, they're reliable, maybe you need to tell this person your idea. And maybe this person that acts needs to align themselves with a person like you who thinks, and y'all can act and think all the way to the bank. But you too scared somebody's going to steal your idea. Let me tell you, it's plenty of opportunity here. And what I've discovered and what I believe to be true, people who are truly afraid of competition, people who truly are deathly afraid that somebody's going to steal their idea and then they're not going to be able to do it themselves. Typically, those are people who rarely travel. A lot of times when I come across people who are so deathly afraid of competition that it's almost a form of anxiety to them, those are the people who never travel. Because if you traveled and you got a window seat, remember that Erica Boss? Let me get a window seat. Don't need nobody next to me. If you somebody who truly traveled and you got a window seat and you would look out the window, like when you're going over these major cities and when you're taking off and when you're about to land, you will see it's absolutely no way that nobody can stop you from getting a customer. Don't blame your friends. Don't blame your family. Find a problem and solve it for as many people as possible and make yourself irreplaceable and align yourself with the right team. If you're somebody that's persistent, but you're not that smart, self-admittedly, find some smart folk. Because guess what? These smart folk, they know how to think about the risk and all that stuff, but they always are thinking about the risk. They're not actually acting a lot. You need to align yourself with those people. I found a clip one time that a guy asked this guy, he was sitting in a convertible, I think it was a convertible Rolls Royce, if that exists, right? It was a very nice car, a car that was probably cost over $300,000-$400,000. And he asked him, he said, "Hey man, what advice would you give somebody to be successful?" He said, "Find some people you trust and take them all the way to the top with you." Because one thing that I'm learning with this trust thing, because it has to happen. It's no way that you can avoid uh having to trust people if you're trying to get to a certain point and place in your life. One thing that you realize is 99 out of 100 people are untrustworthy. 99 out of 100 people are unreliable. 99 out of 100 people are undependable. But that one person, when you find them, keep trying to find ways to make it work. One thing that I've learned when it comes to building a business and finding people that you trust and people that you work with, you must very first, in the very beginning, come up with whatever your core values are. Now, the thing about coming up with core values, the things that you truly believe in, like we believe in taking action, we believe in honesty, we believe in sincerity, right? When you think about your core values, things that you truly believe in, when you're working in a closely held company, typically the core values of your closely held company is also the core values of your personal self. So it's a book called Traction by Gino Wickman. And what he said is the way to determine the core values of your company is you need to look at the people who you work with and look at the traits that you admire the most about them. And then you need to have some outside people tell you about the traits that they admire most about you. Because guess what? I don't know who discovered water, but it wasn't a fish. Sometimes you can't see what it is when you're in it. I heard that quote from this attorney. Dang, I forget his name. But when I heard that quote, it reminded me of a joke that I heard a long time ago. And so it was two young fish just sitting with each other, and a older fish comes up, just swimming along past the young fish, and he looks at the young fish. He said, "Hey guys, water's fine today, isn't it?" And then he just keeps on going. And the two fish look at each other and said, "What the fuck is water? What is water?" They were in water, but didn't realize they were in water. Just like dark matter. A lot of people say that, all the planets and everything is connected through something that we have yet to discover yet, called dark matter, right? So when you're in something, you can't see it, right? So you need to look at the people closest around you and figure out what are their best traits, and then ask people that are close to you to figure out what your best traits are. And you should get a list of maybe 20 to 30 things. And then you need to narrow that list down to about 5 to 15 core values, right? And what's so important about having these core values? What's so important about having these core values is, remember, you're looking for a team. You're looking for people you can trust. You're looking for people that you can bring to the top with you to help both of you all of you achieve your mutual goals. And the reason why you need to have core values is because what's going to happen is you're going to go through the whole painstaking process of hiring somebody. It's painstaking. You got to find them, you got to interview them, you got to do the onboarding process. And what's going to probably happen eventually, if not the first time, second, third time, is you're going to hire somebody and the job that you hired them to do, they're going to suck. It's absolutely, you're going to give them multiple chances, and it's absolutely no way that they can perform this task that you hired them for. What the book Traction says that you need to do in that situation is before you fire them, you need to meet amongst you and your leaders and look at your core values. This person who you hired to do a task who sucks, what you need to do is put them against your core values and say, all right, we have these 10 core values. All right. Are they honest? Yes, they're honest. Okay. Are they somebody who, takes action? Okay. Yeah, they take action. All right. Are they sincere? Okay. They're sincere. All right. They fit all of our core values. But this job that they're doing for us, they suck. When you hire somebody and they fit all of your core values, but they cannot perform the task that you put in front of them, what that means is you have the right person, but in the wrong seat. You have the right person, but in the wrong position. What happens when you get that person and you line them up against your core values, and then when you have that right person in the wrong position, you just got to move them to another position, because it's already hard enough to find people you trust. It's already hard enough to find people who align with your core values. It's already hard enough to find people who can see your vision. So when you line them up against that and you find out, all right, they meet all your core values, but they can't do the task that you hired for them for, you need to move them somewhere else. But what if you line them up against your core values, and for whatever reason, you got 10 core values and they short about 4? You got the wrong person. It don't even matter if they are in the right seat. You might have somebody that's making a killing. You might have a salesperson that's hitting their numbers every day, every week, every month, but their core values is messing up your company. It's messing up the culture of your company. What if one of your core values is we're honest, and you have a salesperson that's knocking it out of the park, but the reason why they're knocking it out of the park is because they lie to all of their prospects. And then maybe they are, going around the company saying bad things about the company, dispelling the leaders, right? It don't matter if they are in the right seat. That's the wrong person for your company. That's the wrong person for your culture. And maybe, just maybe, you should let them go. You should give them an opportunity to find a better situation. And maybe they can find a better situation and they will succeed and you will succeed, and your company's culture will no longer be adversely affected. So this was me cranking it back up. I'm going to start having these lives frequently at night. What I've learned about having lives when you're trying to build your online personal brand is it stimulates the algorithm to bring more people to look at your shorts, more people to look at your videos and all that good stuff. So this has been your friend, helping you keep your ends to the end. Have a good night.
Gotta make another couple $100 grand a month. No, I can do it, I just gotta stand 100. fluids and a couple